Sisters and brothers, buenos me, Pastor Melo speaking. The theme of our video today is Where is the black population of Argentina? On Sunday, December 18th, 2022, Argentina narrowly won the Qatar Football World Cup against France. 11 days later, on Thursday, December 29th, 2022, died the greatest footballer of all time, aptly nicknamed the King, Edson Arantes do Nascimento, worldwide known as Pelé. What is the connection between these two events? First, football. Secondly, the noticeable absence of black players in the Argentina team, in flagrant contradiction with the fact that the greatest ambassador of this sport, King Pelé, was of African descent. While white nations such as the Netherlands, Sweden, England, Germany, and even more so France field black players in their national teams, Argentina claims to be whiter than white Europe. I'm personally amazed to note that this fact has gone unnoticed when it should legitimately have shocked international opinion and raised some questions. Argentina being a Latin American country, it has necessarily undergone a long European colonization in the same way as Pelé's Brazil. Spanish for the first and Portuguese for the second. But whoever says colonization in past centuries says slavery with its inhuman forced deportation of millions of Africans. So the question arises, where did the black population of Argentina go? The answer is unfortunately easy to guess from the history of this country. The black population of Argentina has been systematically erased and suppressed in the context of an absolutely unapologetic whitewashing. Adolf Hitler could not have done better. Moreover, it is of historical notoriety that many of the Nazis close to the German Führer who were able to slip through the meshes of the net of the Allied forces of the Second World War in 1945 found refuge in Argentina. If the Germans could not go through with their racialist madness, Argentina is the country that has best succeeded in whitewashing its population, its history, and its culture. This country also prides itself on being considered the whitest country in South America. In fact, according to current statistics, Argentinians of European origin, like Maradona or Messi, who have risen to the rank of semi-gods, constitute 97% of the population, a staggering figure given that at the end of the 18th century, half of the population of the interior of the country as well as 30 to 40% of the population of the capital, Buenos Aires, were black. Far from worrying about it, the Argentines quietly assume their racism as demonstrated by the insults broadcast on social networks against Kylian Mbappé, the prodigy of French football, for being of African origin. Former Argentinian President Carlos Menem once proudly declared that black Argentina did not exist and that it was a Brazilian problem. His distant predecessor, President Domingo Faustino Sarmiento, 1868-1874, dealt with the issue. He had undertaken a secret genocide which wiped out the Afro-Argentine population, so much so that a century later, in 1975, there were so few blacks left in Argentina that the government did not bother to register the descendants of Africans in the large-scale national census carried out that year under the presidency of Isabel Perón. The elimination of people of color from the history and consciousness of the country followed the dream of successive Argentine governments to make that country an all-white extension of Europe in Latin America, exactly as the whites practicing apartheid in South Africa had long cherished the dream of a country free of blacks. During his tenure, Sarmiento instituted an oppressive and murderous policy against his black population. He notably separated the black community from the community of European descendants, condemning them to misery and a slow death from deprivation and lack of health care. Thus, when epidemics of cholera and yellow fever broke out, Sarmiento's fatal plan was greatly facilitated. Moreover, he didn't count only on circumstances outside his control to drastically reduce the percentage of Argentinians of African origin. He also proceeded to the forced recruitment of Afro-Argentinians into the army, the mass imprisonment for minor or fake crimes, and the mass executions. During the armed conflict with Paraguay in 1864, he used blacks as cannon fodder, with white officers sending them to the front lines with little chance of survival. Sarmiento, who was also a writer, left to posterity this sentence whose poetry I let you appreciate. Blacks in the United States are like a parasite produced by slavery, a parasite that the English colony left clinging to the leafy tree of liberty. Consequently, in line with this policy of discrimination, most white Argentine leaders and intellectuals have not lacked imagination to erase from their nation the African presence and influence in all its aspects: politics, culture, social life, sport. A rather edifying example: tango, a dance and a music constituting the most exported cultural product from Argentina, has been stripped of its African roots, even though this word tango comes from the Congo idiom and means rhythm, time, season. My book, The Most Intelligent Language in the World, refers. Could the legendary tango singer Carlos Gardel have achieved worldwide fame if he hadn't had, as a composer and mentor, a black musician and poet whose name we don't even remember? Certainly not. But as often, see the examples of Elvis Presley, the Rolling Stones, the Beatles. The list is not exhaustive. The black muse has remained in the shadows, thrown into the dustbin of history, while the white artist is extolled. Decidedly, we are not of this world. Word of Kuswa, John chapter 17, verse 16. To answer the question asked at the top of our video today, our first video of 2023, the black population has been erased from Argentina's whiteboard. Isn't it distressing to see a country that once suffered the horrors of colonization, discrimination, and injustice achieve the feat of sweeping part of its own so-called colored population under the rug? At a time when a nation in the same Latin American zone, Brazil, is mourning its hero, a sublime black Bantu man, in a beautiful burst of communion of all its social and racial diversity, Argentina should be singled out as one of the most racist nations in the world. Mind you, Africans, I'm speaking here to those who celebrated with effusion the victory of the Argentina's football team, exclusively white, at the expense of France, a half-African team. Remember Bob Marley's redemption song. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. Free yourselves from mental bondage. Drop the invisible and therefore pernicious chains that turn your perpetually colonized brains upside down. Ingeta, Pastor Melo.